State of Affairs is pleased to welcome Tom Bergeron, editor, Chief Content Officer, ROI-NJ. Tom, thanks for joining us. By the way, we have a cross-promotional partnership with your organization, trying to bring eyeballs, if you will, to what we do and what you do.
Absolutely.
How much of it is about eyeballs?
Eyeballs are as important in the media. For what we do, it's the right eyeballs. You know, our concern is people always ask me what we cover, and I always answer it, it's not what we cover, but who we cover for. So we're trying to produce information that is going to be relevant to the movers and shakers and decision makers in the state. And when I say that, it doesn't necessarily mean the governor and the key leaders who read us, and we appreciate that. It's at all levels. CEOs of companies, it can be 3,000 employees, it can be 3 employees. So it's the people who are making decisions to make the economy run. That's who we're appealing to.
By way of background, Tom spent about 20 years in sports broadcasting, move over to business, if you will, journalism, sports journalism, if you will, I'm sorry. And we're doing the show after the University of Virginia won the national championship. You graduated from?
I did, University of Virginia.
Yeah, Rutgers, we're doing great. So, so this is ROI, by the way. This happens to be written, this story on minimum wage by Anjali Kimlani, who was with us recently on State of Affairs. Check out that segment. She's really good. You have a massive staff, do you not?
Yeah, there's about 9 of us, T to green, everything we do, sales, journalists, editors, inside, outside, that's what we do.
And you know, the publication started a couple of years ago.
About 18 months,
right.
September of 2017 was our launch.
Before we got on the air, we talked about niche media, niche journalism. We're niche. Some people say, how many people, what are your ratings? And in public broadcasting, yeah, it matters. But I often tell our people, it's who's watching,
100%.
Why they watch, and what impact we have. I don't want to say that ours is yours, but is it?
To some extent, listen, all media, all content, everything is niche publishing these days because people have so many choices, whether it's TV, radio, online, social, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. So really, you're appealing to a certain niche audience for what you perform. The people who are trying to appeal to everyone are the ones that are falling by the wayside. The ones that have found a niche are the ones that are exceeding far beyond what people think people are exceeding at.
How are you doing the economics of this?
As far as our paper?
Yeah.
We're doing pretty well. I mean, we're 18 months out, 19 months out. I'd like to say that we're breaking even, doing a little better. We're rolling. Our numbers in every facet are going up every month as far as readership, as far as advertising, as far as support, as far as branding. So we see us on a steadily climbing plane. We're happy where we are.
Let's talk about the business community. A big part of your audience is the business community. The relationship between the business community and Governor Murphy's administration, particularly around policies that he is putting forth that impact the business community. Talk about it.
Everybody likes the governor personally.
Absolutely.
Everyone is happy to talk to him. Everyone is pleased to see him. His policies from the business community are not necessarily well received.
Such as?
Well, such as everything he wants to do is going to be another tax. The business community feels like it's the same old story, that they're creating the jobs, that they're building the economy, and everything they do is they're constantly getting hit with this regulation, this tax. The business community laughs. You know, the governor doesn't mind taxing people, but when they lower the SALT deduction in the federal government, then he's upset about it. When they have congestion pricing, you know, you pay a little bit more to live in, yeah. So he'll say you pay a little bit more to live in New Jersey, and that's his justification for taxes. When New York wants to tax people in New Jersey, whoa, wait a minute, that's a problem. So the business community, listen, this is no different than any business community in any state and any municipality. They don't want to be taxed. They feel like they're driving the economy. It's always a give and take between the two sides.
You know, Tom, we had a leader of a very progressive think tank, Public Policy Perspective. Help me, Jackie, on that. Brandon McCoy, just on earlier today, we were taping. And I raised the issue of the millionaire's tax. And he said, look, it's a myth. Anecdotally, there are people who leave the state if, in fact, you tax people who are millionaires above every dollar, if you will, every dollar above $1 million, which is what the tax is, not at the beginning. It's everything over $1 million. He said, but the research, the stats don't back it up. We are not losing wealthier New Jerseyans if, in fact, you're shaking your head, if the income tax for millionaires is raised. You say?
Lies, damn lies, and statistics. Anyone can quote that. And listen, I don't have the research. I respect what they do. They do a lot of research. From what we hear on the ground, people want to leave. People want to go. When you get to be older and you've established a business, people are spending more time in Florida. They're spending more time in Pennsylvania. People are moving out. There's no doubt about it. This isn't the United Van Line survey. That's a reach of what they're really applying to. But when we talk to business leaders and we talk to the wealthier people, why would you want to be there? And I think the best anecdote is, why is North Carolina doing so well? Why is Tennessee doing so well? Why is Texas doing so well? Why are companies moving there? Why are people moving there? To pretend like people like taxes is foolish.
Okay, so someone says, come on, they have nicer weather. You say?
I say people don't want to pay taxes.
Okay, but we want better schools. We want universal pre-K. We want to do what the federal government may not be doing if they do away with the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, and so Governor Murphy wants to protect us there. We want to have the minimum wage go. People say they want those things, plus they want more state aid to their school districts,
right.
But we don't want to increase taxes. Is there a disconnect?
Sure. Listen, it's real easy to say we should tax the really rich people, because there aren't a lot of really rich people, and everybody wants that. But when you understand what's going on in the economy and you see the different sides, the recent gravel with the EDA and the incentives that they came out, which we've talked about.
The Economic Development Authority.
Yeah, it's easy to quote that.
Do you think they've been helpful to spur investment, particularly in urban communities, Camden, Newark, Jersey City, other places?
Have you been to Camden, Newark, Jersey City, other places recently?
They're looking better.
They're looking unbelievably better. Would anyone have set foot in Camden without the EDA incentives? No way. Would Jersey City have grown up like that way? No way. Do things need to be changed and modified as they go along? Like any policy, absolutely. But to pretend like these things weren't helpful is crazy. They were incredibly helpful.
Before I let you out of here, Governor Christie, Governor Murphy, the difference between A, how they deal with the media, B, how they deal with the business community. Minute left. Loaded question, I know.
Murphy is a lot smoother with the media to some extent. Christie has been a lot smoother as far as getting things done.
Easier to cover one versus another?
Same.
You love what you do.
Love what I do.
So, folks, the publication is ROI-NJ. By the way, ROI stands for?
Return on information.
It's not investment.
It's not investment. We're giving you the information you need to make your business better.
And information is?
Information is anything about business and politics and government, the decision leaders for companies that will help them make money. That's
Tom, I was going for information is power, but that's nice. Tom Bergeron, who is the editor and chief content officer, ROI-NJ. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm Steve Adubato. This is State of Affairs. We're coming to you from the NJ TV studio in Newark. Let's continue the conversation. Follow me on Twitter at Steve Adubato. I promise you, see you next week.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 30 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of State of Affairs with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Northward Center, Guarini Institute for Government and Leadership at St. Peter's University, New Jersey Sharing Network, the New Jersey Education Association, New Jersey Resources, the New Jersey Office of the Insurance Fraud Prosecutor, Office of the Attorney General, and by St. Joseph's Health,